I did another video about tonight, and I rambled on about White Tiger making the break, and I might have been touching his elbows, and I got halfway through it, and I felt to myself, I'm just making excuses. I can't really tell you why he made a break. I can tell you this. I told Amy this a week ago. I'll start in the middle, I guess, with Tiger at the end. I told Amy last week, I've known White Tiger longer than any being on planet Earth. But I'm not certain that White Tiger needs Anthony McDonald anymore. He's not the same horse. He's safer. He might have made a break tonight, but he's not generally a breaker anymore. He was rolly. You could see it in the mile. He was rolly. He didn't feel to me like he was, but he was. Under video, you can see it plain as day down the backstretch, down the lane before he made that break. What's he doing there? It's not lameness. Is he touching his elbows a little more? Was he spinning off the track a little more? I don't know. That's a conversation to have with Dominic tomorrow. I don't really know, to be honest. But I can tell you this. I don't need to go and drive White Tiger. Hopefully James drives him. He's not quite an open horse. He's not quite... When he's on, he's very close to Locatelli. And maybe even beat him once in a while. But he's not quite there. I think the best thing we can do for White Tiger, aside from getting somebody else to drive him, I suppose, is putting him in a place where he can win, right? And I know my wife is not a fan of this, and she's very angry when I bring it up and I talk about it, but he may have to win for 80 or 100 or whatever that class below the Open is. I don't want to keep racing White Tiger in the Open. It's not fair to him. He'd be a really, really good horse in the backup class. And once in a while, when he's on his game, yeah, he's a horse that might have to, if you really needed him and he was on a tear, let him jump up into the Open, fine, but he's not a week-in, week-out Open trotter. Just isn't. It's not his fault. There's nothing wrong. Horse has made almost $400,000. By the time his career is all said and done, he's going to eclipse 500. And when you factor in the amount of money he left lying around on the table, because he did, pretty good horse. So we're going to circle back to the front of the card. I've been telling everybody all week, and for the past 3 weeks, everybody says, "Oh, Renegade Gypsy just looks tired." No, you think he looks tired because you see he has 20 starts and he raced against it. We just bought a trotter we're going to race into the winter that's raced against better horses all year long than Renegade Gypsy, right? Now I'm money of 14, 15, 16 starts, something like that. And if Renegade Gypsy's tired, then he goes to the field. But I will caution you right now, if you think you're going to rest him, he's going to come back and he's going to be, ready to do battle. He's going into the deep end of the pool. He's in some of it. He saw some of it last week. He's going to see a lot more of that, right? And the transition from 3 to 4, we've talked about it time and time again, is tough. So I would caution everybody before they start saying, it would just rest him and then give him a couple months off and come back. And, it doesn't work that way. Not always. So I would race Renegade Gypsy until he tells us. And if tonight is the night he told us, I asked Sylvain, he said left line a little more than usual. I said, was he tired? He said, maybe a little. I'm not saying we're not turning him out. I'm just saying make sure no chips are left on the table when we turn him out. Because when he comes back, it's going to be really tough. It's going to be a tough transition for him. But he's a resilient horse. And if we do, when he comes back, if it gets really tough at Mohawk, it's not going to be tough everywhere. He can race in the Meadows. He can race anywhere we want to race him. I suspect he'll be a Mohawk horse next year. But at the same token, as I said, let him tell us when he needs to be rested. And if that was it tonight, then so be it. That's fine. I talked to Harry. I'm waiting to see this text message that came through a few minutes ago from Harry talking about doing some work on Red. James said Resolute Bay was loaded just on the left line a bit, and he had trouble getting him down into the inside. So again, does that mean we stop with him? Not according to James. I'll leave that up to James and Harry and Mario and Sylvain. I don't need to make those decisions. I'm certainly not going to override them or veto them. If they say they're tired, they're tired. That's up to them. Sailor was horrible tonight. He had an okay week. His scope wasn't bad. But as I said to Dominic, pulling up, it's on, and I started to explain it. He said, yes, I know what you're saying, is that bulk behind, that muscle that's supposed to be on him, it doesn't seem to be present. Usually, you'll hear everybody say, oh, he must have EPM. There's that big, giant EPM umbrella again. but it is an indicator that he may be an EPM type horse. We have given him Baycocks, haven't had it in a while, so we may switch him to a different product called Marquis. Dominic brought it up and said, what about trying Marquis on him? Sometimes it does work a little bit better. I think it did play a role tonight, but that didn't happen overnight. Like, that muscle tone didn't dissipate overnight. I said, if he's eating well, feed him a little bit more, maybe put him on the walker in the morning and then jog him. Get him built back up a little bit. He didn't seem tired to me. He seemed like he was trotting okay, touching the left wheel, but that just needs a gating pole. That's nothing. Just flat and poor tonight. Scope wasn't horrible. We'll check his blood tomorrow, but I think first thing, draw his blood. We will give him the Marquis regardless of what his blood says. And then race him back. I do believe that's a good class for that horse. But not like that, it's not. Certainly not like that. And then the last two, as I said, White Tiger made that break tonight. He was going to be 5th or 6th. I just hate racing him in there. We got a really nice horse. We have an open trotter right now in Locatelli. He raced fantastic. I guess I'll talk about both of them at the same time. To put a little bobble in, leaving. James did a good job to steady him, and then ended up in a terrible spot. First over. It's not his fault. As soon as you got away in the 4-hole in the first turn, you knew he had to be first over. And he's not a first over horse. That's a huge mile for Locatelli. And those are good horses. It's no joke. HB Mama B and Logan Park are both killers. Now, if he lands down 3rd and gets the quarter pole, instead of letting Dougie go a half and 56-1, pushes him and makes Dougie let him release him to the half, 55-3, I don't know if he beats him. I know he's not worse than 2nd. He's on fire right now, that horse. Look good. Tiger's just a step below them. And as I said, if we have to put him in for 80 or 100, then we will. And I know that may end up with me in the doghouse. We don't literally have a doghouse, but Amy may buy a doghouse and put me in the doghouse. Yes, she's not going to like the fact, but is it better to race the horse in where he can do, or race the horse in where he likely can't do most of the time? Is it unlikely that White Tiger could ever win an Open? No. Someday he'll win the Open, but he's not an open trotter. And there's a difference, right? When you go on the track and you're more than 10-1, and you're going to be more than 10-1 every week, you don't belong in that class, right? You just don't. We've had success this year putting the horses in where they can win. You guys have heard me say it a million times. This is not a Harry or a Dominic problem. This is the race office not having enough classes problem. Now, he's not racing in the Open next week. If they can't drop down on money, then I will tag him. And I will take a lot of flack from that, from my wife. But you know what? You got to put the horses in where they can win. And that is that. This is horse racing. We all fall in love with the horses. I try my best not to, but everybody does. And Amy does too. White Tiger's like a kid of hers. But they have to race where they can win. So that's the takeaway from tonight. Overall, Renegade Gypsy, was he a little flat? Maybe. We'll see what happens there. Resolute Bay, looks like we're going to be taking him to the vet. Sailor, going to treat him up a little bit different, change his routine, and come back at them again. Locatelli raced as good as you could ask him to race in there. The horse was a bionic tonight. He raced great. And White Tiger just is an open trotter. And doesn't need me, for that matter. So 2, 3, 4 big takeaways from tonight. At the end of the day, not a horrible night. Certainly not the night we wanted. Certainly not the night we're used to with these horses. But hopefully we can get a few more classes going, get these guys in where they can do a little more damage next week. Be a little better. Not be on the left line. Be a little stronger. Not make breaks. Just not a great night. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Good day with the babies. Gonna go with them again tomorrow and then head to Ohio. We got 4 in tomorrow night in Ohio. We'll see how they get along. I gotta go back, first start back since the summer to Pennsylvania, I believe at the Meadows on Thursday. Kings County. I got a text from Stacy yesterday saying, hey, could you go drive Kings County in the Meadows if Brett can't make it? Absolutely. So I'm going over to Northfield tomorrow. Handsome Face in on Wednesday. And then we get some horses in Thursday, 4 in Thursday at the Meadows, I believe. So with that, I'll let you guys go. The sun, I don't know what the weather's like, but the sun will likely come up tomorrow. It's not the end of the world. Take care.